Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 470. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo!
And Tony Korkanakis.
Hello, again.
Again. Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 470 of the Gamecast.
Point two.
Second time through, my computer froze on us.
They don't know, guys. They don't know.
They won't hear as much enthusiasm. We have a great topic tonight. We did it on the movie cast. It's our things that freaked us out playing games and scariest moments or that influenced us there. So we're gonna go through that as a topic. But first, let's get into what I've been up to. I will kick us off again and mentioned. Now I'm gonna remember the thing I added at the end and mentioned that I finished Gears 5 finally. Yay! So I will say that I was very upset with the abrupt ending of Gears because it was I thought it was 5 acts and unfortunately it's 4. It's only 4. So when I was playing the last sequences, I was playing it man, this is epic. If Act 5 is anything like this, it's gonna be fantastic. And I'm no wait, this is the ending. When I there's a boss and stuff. When I finish the boss, I'm just that's when it clicked. When I finished the boss, I'm just this was too big to be an Act 4. This was a boss. And,
how do you top this? Where do you go from here?
And then I'm they're talking to each other, and I'm then the screen goes blank, and I'm fucking credits. No. So I was so bummed about that, but because it's got such a good story. This is the best Gears, story-wise and cinematic-wise that I've played. I've played all of them with Corey. We've played all of the games. And
this is the first one we haven't played fully.
Yes, first one we haven't played together actually. But it was so good. The gameplay was even so very tight. I love the fact that they changed. I actually liked. At first, I hated the melee button move. I love that they added a whole separate melee button to this game. And a couple different lancers now. They had a couple different weapons, which I enjoyed. The
relics that are a little bit different. Yeah.
The little relic lancer, yeah. They had the relics, yes, the relic stuff, and So and there's a level up system in this game too with your robot Jack. You can actually put points into his skills and make him more helpful. Because during the last sequences, he was my res guy when I was getting knocked down because they were some really hard sequences. And he would come over and res me as I was going because this upsets me because I'm wondering how bad Last of Us Part 2 is going to be because I swear that this won't beat Your Companions Will Help, right? Isn't that what they said? Because they're no help. I'm sitting there down, tapping A, yelling, revive me, and they're sitting there staring at me, not helping me up. And I'm right next to them. So there were so many times you're just you're wasting my timer. You are pick me up. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the game. But it was very abrupt. It was just such an abrupt ending. I'm just I really wish that they, it's a middle game in a trilogy. You just hope that they at least give you something, and it just feels it feels while there were some shocking moments, and a lot of shocking moments at the end, actually, I just was and that's when I realized it was the last act, by the way. But, I just feel they didn't give you closure of a story. It was just 4. 4 didn't really give us that. They just kind of rolled the credits as we're okay, get into the game now, and then, credits roll.
How long do you think the campaign took you?
Probably 10, 12 hours. Probably 12 hours-ish. Probably 12 hours, I think. Maybe a little longer. I was actually moving slow through it because I picked up a lot of collectibles. I think it was 80% complete.
Oh, nice.
And one playthrough, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta finish. I'm I probably put almost halfway through, I think.
Yeah.
So I just gotta finish that.
I like I said, I enjoyed it. There's actually a cool thing in this where I wonder if they're gonna hold fast to this if choices matter. That's as much as I'll get into it because there's choices that are made in this that
you're making.
Technically should affect the game going forward, but there's multiple.
The thing is, when you have choices, which one's canon? Which choice is canon?
Saying. It would be really cool if they gave us both as canon. If they make the other one canon, you're this is stupid. You know what I mean? So.
That's a problem with those games, though.
Yeah, it's an illusion of
all
choice.
Comes down to comes down to a single option. Really.
And I started playing Outer Worlds, but Tony, you can get into that for us right now, as you did before. So go on.
Yeah, Outer Worlds, pretty good. I played between 6 and 8 hours, I'd estimate. Haven't booted up yesterday or today, so I don't that number off the top of my head. But getting the bad out of the way first. Fuck the text option in this game. It's so goddamn small. Like, I can't just sit back and relax and enjoy my game on my 50-inch TV. I gotta fucking get closer to the screen and, like, nuke my eyes with fucking, LED rays and shit like that. But yeah, just fucking developers get on that shit. Get on that shit.
You know that people play on big screen TVs. Even like PC gamers play on big screen TVs.
Yeah.
And they're playing an even higher resolution than we are on these systems.
Yeah.
It's like, how do they... There's no chance they're going to read this text. It's ridiculous that in this 4K day and age, they haven't figured out how to give us bigger font.
Like, fix that shit. But other than that, that's my biggest gripe with the game. It's awesome. It's definitely scratching that Bethesda single-player RPG that we've been denied for a couple years now since Fallout 4 came out, and even then I was kind of disappointed with the RPG aspect of it. But this game, it's really cool. You can definitely tell it's smaller in scope, but everything's there from like the character creation. I spent probably 30 minutes just in character creation, which I'm sure some people spent even longer than that. But
some awesome choice. I love the character creation. I thought it was awesome to get that many choices.
Yeah, it was really cool. But I love how, like, it's one of those things where, like, initially it's like, hey, distribute your stat points. It's like, ooh, like, this is always a little tough because, at least in my experience, unlike Fallout where you can increase those stat points later on, there's no way to increase them, at least, that I've seen.
I didn't know that when I did this because, like, you don't know what you're in for in this game. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
I do think it is just kind of a starting point, but you can't, like, do big chunks like you can at the beginning, I don't think.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. But either way, I think it's pretty cool because each of the the way I like it is you start out average in everything, and then they're like, here's 3 extra points or something like that. You can also reduce certain skills to be below average. Yeah. If you really want
to go back and do this again.
Yeah, because if you want to play like a dumb brute, like you could take points out of intelligence and charisma and just pump them all into like your physical like strength and dexterity if you really wanted to. And vice versa, you could take it out and be like an egghead nerd type and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool because all of them, depending on if you're like, I think it's like average, below average, like way below average, and like just terrible. And then it's true. And each of those gives you a certain like bonus or like
negative
inverse of penalty. Negative.
Yeah, I liked doing that just to see what comments.
The description was so good. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, well, it's like, you kind of hit yourself in the head when you're little, weren't you? It's stuff like that.
So he did, just real quick, he just to say that same thing, when I was doing the intellect part, he was like, I put it up to maxed it, and he's like, oh, I see you're smarter than me, and I put it down one step, and he's like, or maybe not.
Yeah, it's really funny. I do like the writing in this game, but similarly that, you have skill points just like in Fallout, and that you can increase with every level. But it just really scratches that like RPG aspect because right now my build is a charismatic, intelligent leader type. So right now I barely have any bonuses to weapons or melee. So right now it just I try to talk my way through encounters and stuff like that. But if not, I just tell my companion is like, handle this for me. It's like go break their kneecaps or something like that, and they just go loose and just absolutely destroy everything in their sight. And it's kind of funny because I'm just like, here, you guys have the best weapons. I don't need this shit. I'm not firing, so you can have it. But yeah, it's really cool. I love the locales. I've explored a couple different areas so far. I just like, the systems in Fallout. There's different ways to handle a lot of these quests. I'm not sure about all of them, but there's the first planet I encountered this mission where it's like, hey, you either have to side with Group A or Group B. And I was like, well, Group A is pretty obviously the don't side with them, they're the bad people. But then you find out some other shit, and you're like, oh, well, Group B, they're not exactly innocent either. They're no angels, some dumb shit like that. So it's like, I don't know how to resolve this. But I found a way to sort of get the best of both worlds. And
both outer worlds?
Yeah.
And I'm sort of curious what you did, because to me, it seemed like a binary decision to me.
That's what you would think with the power converter.
Yeah.
That's what you would think, but there was a way to actually get like another option out of it, which I was like so happy about because I was like, oh shit. And now the one thing
option 3.
Now I'm kind of waiting to see if the entire world changes, because one of the things I appreciate about Fallout 3 was how, like in that first one, like what did you call it, Mike? The first town.
Megaton.
Megaton, yeah. Like you had the option to like either defuse the nuke or just set it off, and depending on what you did, like that followed you throughout the game because you would see the mutants because some people survived and just became mutants because of the irradiation, and whatnot, or people would be like kill you like, oh, you're the hero that saved Megaton and stuff like that. So I'm eagerly anticipating to see if that has ramifications on the rest of my playthrough and stuff like that. But awesome game, loving it. You can definitely tell it's not quite AAA, it's AA, which is fine. That's fine. But a part of me in my deep core is just like after this game, I really want to go back and play either Fallout 3 or New Vegas and just play through like.
I never played through New Vegas, so I feel bad that I never.
Yeah. You know what? My problem was with New Vegas, which I'm a little worried about with this game. I know they have multiple endings, but they're like hard endings, and the way I was playing it, especially with all the DLC that came out for that, I didn't want to end the character that I had, so I never finished it on purpose. So I never really finished New Vegas.
Oh, dudes. Jim, you have to play it. New Vegas is my favorite.
New Vegas
really?
was developed by the same people that developed Outer Worlds. So
I know who did it. I know that.
Well, I'm just saying, listeners.
For those, okay. So, but Mike, I take it like you've been playing this as well.
Yeah, I've got 15 hours in it already. And I'm going pretty completionist here because I know that the game is rumored to be a little smaller, so I'm trying to like get like what I can get done in an area before I move on. Although there's a few cases where I know I'll need to backtrack anyway, but so I'm being pretty meticulous. But it's a fun game, like we said. It's definitely like Fallout in like a spacey world. To me, one of the big issues might be that it's kind of ugly looking. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm playing on the Xbox One S, but it looks a little last gen to me. But there's a big difference between when you talk to a character, the model you get there, and then like their in-game model, even right up close. It's pretty noticeable. But other than that, it's it's fun. There are repeated interiors too and stuff like that. So, but that's okay. I'm definitely like enjoying my time. I'm failing at role playing like I normally do in these games though, because I just want to like be able to do everything. So I'm pretty spread out. I guess if there's anything I'm not huge into, it's a lot of the science stuff and the melee stuff. Although the science stuff is annoying me because the best weapons in the game get more powerful with your science level up because they're science weapons, which is kind of annoying to me. But other than that, yeah, I've been making decisions. Some of them I sort of regret already, which is good. I think I cost myself a lot of money too by doing something one way. I'm not sure. We'll see on that if I
play with the Raptors.
No, it's probably later. Well, kind of maybe. Someone wanted like. Basically, I had to sell stuff to either one person or the other, and I probably should have saved more things to sell to one person rather than spreading it thin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that cost me a lot of money, but I'm not sure. But no, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely there's some depth to it, and I do have to say though the flaw system that they touted in here is not as interesting as it was presented. Like you just kind of get a perk point immediately if you decide that in certain situations that you fell in before, you suck worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm kind of like, so this is coming up because like I keep getting like shot in the head or I fell off a high place. It's like, nah, this means if I do take this, it'll be even worse when I do this again. I'm like, that's like the opposite of what I want to do, honestly.
Yeah, there's some. It's interesting where like I think one was like whatever the equivalent of like radiation is in this game. It's like, oh, you've been radiated so many times, you can opt to get this negative, perk or negative whatever trait, which is like increased damage or you get poisoned faster, whatever it is. But we'll give you a perk point, and I'm just like, I don't know about that one. Like,
they seem pretty rough. The penalties too. They're like minus like like 2 intelligence or something during the situation, which is like a pretty decent overall like stat drop. So I'm like, I think I accidentally took one like fear of heights. I'm like, whatever. I assume I won't do that too often. I don't know. But other than that, like I'm definitely way into it. I'm gonna probably jump right back into it when we're done with the podcast.
You guys got on Game Pass also?
Yes, I have it on Game Pass. It's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like Gears, there and this. I played like maybe.
I gotta enjoy it now because I just don't think when my subscription ends in 2 years, the price will be the same or anything like that. So I'm just enjoying it for what it is. Yeah. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Corey?
Yeah, I think I played like 2 hours of Outer Worlds or so, maybe a little bit more. Got through a lot of the first town that you visit. Did some of those missions with the trying to shake down some people, but
I mean,
I did spend a lot of time in the create a character. It's like that's like it's been a while since we've had a game where you kind of can just put yourself in there and really like mess with
I will
the look.
I will say this though. One thing I am a little disappointed with that. First of all, there's no third person, so you hardly ever see the character. Yeah. And second of all, I'm kind of disappointed with the sort of armor and mask like options in the game that I've come across. None of them are really like good looking so far. They're all kind of
generic-y,
samey. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them so far. Hopefully there's stuff that looks better. I kind of liked all the characters' default, like the companion, their default clothes, but pretty soon after you'll find stuff that you should equip them with that's better.
Yeah.
But
I was actually kind of mad because for this I actually created a female character for my character, and the first NPC companion you get is Pavardi, I think her name.
Yeah.
She had the exact same hairstyle. I'm like, really? Like, come on! Like, come on! There's so many options. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the hairstyles seem like kind of like they fit for the male or female. It didn't really matter what the gender you chose. There's the same hair options.
I did the whole like different color, the way you looked at it with lighting hair color. Did you see that one? I
tried to find like white hair. I wanted to get white hair, but it was white.
One thing I noticed too when you talk to characters in this game, they really love the whole idea that I don't know what the name of the effect is, but how your earlobes or your ears are like translucent a little bit. They love that effect because on every character you talk to, pay attention. There'll be a light from like the side that.
No, I don't want to pay attention. I don't, because I'll just see this whenever. No, I don't.
No, every character.
No, I know. I don't want to know this. I don't want to know.
A little bit for one of their ears. I don't know why they're obsessed with that effect, but it's every one of them.
Well, I've also been playing Borderlands 3 because the Bloody Harvest event started, which is their Halloween event. It's free content. So they have a brand new area that you're going to go to where new mechanics, which is always fun, new weapons, new collectibles, things like that. So a new boss to face. And it's cool. The boss, I hate when you have like immunity periods in boss fights for no apparent reason. They're like, oh, no, he's immune. There's no reason for it, but you can't fight this guy now. They do that here, but you can break him out of it. So like he's immune, but you can actually stop the immunity effect early if you're playing well. So I like that aspect. But the new mechanics are really nice where some enemies are haunted. So when you kill them, they're like a ghost will come out and try to get you. So it's pretty neat. And so, it's been pretty cool just to get back in there with new content and, again, free content, which is funny because there's a lot of complaints about how grindy this free content is. It's like, it's free. Have fun with it. And it's themed for Halloween, so.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we're going to get another free thing in a few weeks, so it's going to be good. More Borderlands. It was good.
Cool. All right. Let's get into the news. Because we got some. Let's kick it off with Kotaku. We'll kick it off with the most recent one, with them posting. I guess have you guys been to Kotaku's site? That's not like I've been on my phone, but I have like the ad blocker on the phone, so I don't see what people are talking about. But apparently the ads pop up and they autoplay with sound, and it's like really intrusive. So they've been getting a lot of complaints about this, and I guess they made a post on their site, and every one of the editors linked it on Twitter for everybody to read. which sends people to a Google group that they can complain to their overlords, the Kotaku overlords. That be what's the name of the company? I can't remember what it is.
Gawker Media.
Yeah, Gawker Media. So which owns a couple sites. The thing was is like Jason Schreier posted that on Twitter, and then like people started commenting, "Hey, the link's not working," and then he realized he's like, "It's not working. Nobody took it down here." So apparently somebody in the higher ups ordered that gets pulled down, which brings into another conversation about. It's not about like the freedom there because it's a business, but like there's I guess some agreements in place that you can actually that say like the final decisions to pull down articles are based on the editor in chief, like the actual editor in chief there, and I guess that was never like there's an agreement in place for this. They're not allowed to do what they just did. So that's the scenario right now we got going on. You know, I saw Schreier status saying he has no idea what's going to happen going forward here today, but you know he's enjoyed his time at Kotaku. Or something like that. It was like that on Twitter. He posted that, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't sound too good." So I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's a
I
bad
never really
situation.
visit Kotaku, so I don't care.
No, it's a bad situation.
It's a bad situation for a website, especially a gaming website that it's hard. It's a lot of competition out there for this attention. Not necessarily gaming websites, but just your attention. Reddit and Reset Era and just forums in general. Like there's a lot of places to get news. So when it comes to a site like Kotaku or something like that, it's about the people. So if you have the people that you want to go and read and like what you're interested in and like have common interest, that's where you're gonna head towards. So if they're doing things that are gonna cause like disruption and like the people that are writing for the site to like leave, then you're making it worse for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big problem we run into nowadays is monetization of how they're making profits there, and that's by ads. And that's what the decision was based on. Go on, Mike. What?
Well, also, I mean, like, there's more aggressive ads and ads within content now because everyone does have ad blocker too.
Nope.
So it's like this civil war going on with like any online ads like all the time, and as a result, like I understand ad blocker and it's meant to stop like more intrusive ads like this, but then because it's so widespread now, you get ads within the content more. You're seeing that in pretty much everything now.
And some sites won't even let you go to them unless you turn your ad blocker off.
Yeah. So it's just
I just don't go to the sites.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah, I know. I normally don't either. I mean, but we all have ad blockers.
But then you also have to look at it this way: they have to pay these guys to write. They have to pay these people to write for them, and that's how they make their money.
I know.
Well, the thing is, I'll whitelist the site if they have like non-intrusive, trusted, like because a lot of it has to do with malicious shit too, because a lot of these companies are just like, oh yeah, we'll let you run ads, and it's like installs malware or whatever shit in the background that you don't see. So it's like, well, fuck that, like. I'm not getting a computer virus just because, whatever needed to fucking run some ad, and get some money. But if it's like, hey, trusted, we verify this shit, and it's small, non-intrusive, I'll whitelist the site. Hell, I'll even click on that a couple times just to give them, like, that click. Just be like, you know what? Takes me a second. I'll just let it pop open in a new tab. But if you're obnoxious like that, fuck off. Fuck you. I'm not visiting your site. I don't care what the content is. I'll find a way around it. I guarantee it. And just, especially... it's one thing to not want to listen to people who are your customers, but then if your own employees are saying like, hey, we think this is obnoxious, this is a problem, we probably shouldn't do this. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Just... Or
like have conversations with the people creating the content. Like, hey, how do you think we should be doing this? How to like collaborate a little bit and see what alternative that could come up with. And
it's like, well, at least try it. Like, oh, you think this other way will work? Let's try it, and we'll do it for a month and see what happens.
Well, that's what I like. Their post was, hey, if you're not happy with the way our site looks at this moment, these are the people you can contact to let them know how unhappy you are.
Well, that was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and while that is throwing people under the bus, it's true because apparently they've said they had meetings and said that, hey, this site is terrible. We hate the way it looks, and nothing was getting through to the people that were making these decisions. And so ultimately they made the choice after hearing a lot of people complain about the site and losing readers that, that's when they made the choice to post the information. Here's how you contact these people to complain. And then it was quickly pulled by these people at Gawker. And that's causing a whole other issue. So it's like, I feel like that escalated this even higher. by doing that. So I don't know. We'll see how this unfolds in the next week. It's just kind of just going on every day right now. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see if it gets out a week. I mean, we're 2 days away from BlizzCon, so I think that's going to dominate a lot of the news cycle. So we'll see how that happens.
That's what I want to get into. We get into that next. Overwatch 2 plan on being announced. Diablo 4. They have some big names being announced. Do they make
Diablo
an impact,
4.
though?
Diablo 4, well, so real quick, Diablo 4 was pretty much confirmed because some art book listing in, I think, German or whatever, like, pretty much confirmed, like, oh, this art book will contain stuff from Diablo 4. So it's like, okay, cool. So that lines up with some stuff.
Overwatch 2 sounds awesome. Like PvE, skill trees. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 definitely sounds like a PvE RPG light experience. Like I guess they really wanted to chase after that Destiny money after they lost Destiny, or that was the plan all along. They're like, we can make Overwatch Destiny or whatever like that. So yeah, skill trees, level ups, stuff like that.
New hero
PvE content, new heroes. But apparently it's gonna be somewhat similar to like I guess a Left 4 Dead experience, which. From our recent conversation, I desperately am looking for that Left 4 Dead, niche to be filled. But they got to fucking come around on this shit. One of the things I heard, I don't know if it's true, obviously it's a rumor, we'll find out this weekend, but apparently one of the big controversial things is that any of the stuff that you earned in Overwatch 1, we'll just call it that. We don't know if it's an actual expansion or actual sequel or whatever, or DLC yet, but it's just being internally dubbed Overwatch 2. Apparently, whatever you earned in Overwatch, as we know it, 1, won't transfer over to Overwatch 2. So your skins, your sprays, all that shit won't be in the game. And if that's true, fuck that.
I mean, they already have such bad press going on right now, and that's the other part of this. That's the other part of this.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
No, that's tricky. I mean, that's really tough thing because, like, on one hand, you're creating a brand new game, and on the other hand, it's an evolution of a game that is an ongoing live game
that people spent real money on.
Playing.
Yeah,
but I mean, again, like. That it happens, that's what sequels do. Is they
no.
If you're calling it Overwatch 2,
you defended this for Destiny 2. I will not allow you to defend this with Overwatch 2. I will not. There's no reason. There's no reason for it.
I mean, if you retool the character models a bunch for new characters,
you have to redo all the skins. Yeah,
all the skins. You have to redo everything, and like, how is it all going to translate? It's a lot, then, because think about how many skins that change the character models that people can have at this point from Overwatch 1. And let's say you want to just have, like, Soldier 76 or whoever look totally different this time around.
One of those characters aren't even in the game.
They should have designed around that then. Like, I'm sorry, like, they knew this. The whole thing was this is going to be
a
long-lasting game.
What about Pokemon? The Pokemon game doesn't have all the Pokemon in it. You can't transfer your Pokemon.
Yeah, we're talking about a series that has been around for like 30 years.
I'm just saying, like, it's the same idea.
Pixels. That started out pixel sprites.
It feels like Overwatch has been around 30 years.
It does. But I feel like I understand what Mike and Corey are saying, though, in terms of like character models. It's a lot of work to transfer skins. It really is for that. Like,
I mean, on one hand, obviously, you want this. Like I was saying, you want to be able to take, because this is a evolution or extension of what the game was. But if you're calling it Overwatch 2, it's a separate game. I can understand, is all I'm saying. I can understand if things aren't carried over completely. But at the same time, with where you are right now in the public eye and with how things are going, you needed to make this happen. Like you needed to find a way, because you're getting shit on so much right now.
There's a lot,
and it's
how many protests are going to be happening during this?
I mean, the thing is, like just to bring in another country, like the whole loot crate stuff, and we're still in the midst of that because governments and whatnot are doing that. But like me, I personally have never spent a dime on Overwatch loot crates, and that's fine. Like I don't care. I just either earn free ones or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just can't see an even quicker way, other than the Hong Kong controversy, to lose like player and fan base, like goodwill and good, all that stuff, by saying, hey, all the skins and stuff you've earned the past 3 years, well, fuck it, that's not available in this game. It's like, okay, like, because the thing is, and we've talked about this. I remember talking about this when we did Game of the Year, and I gave Overwatch Game of the Year, and I was like, I want to see the following things, and I think Mike, you agreed with me on getting like those PvE experiences and stuff like that because sometimes you're just not in the mood for that stuff. And that was one of the most requested features. I'm sure that's why this got like fast laned or whatever to development is because it's like fast track. Thank you. Fast track. I was like, what? Fast up. But yeah, exactly. But they knew this is it. Like they could have designed around this. That's all I'm saying.
Right. No, and again, it absolutely. They knew that they had a game that they're going to be supporting for a very long time. They have a league that support they've seen other games support for years and years and years. So they could absolutely made the models like, hey, we understand this has to be this way, so that way everybody's content will carry over. Mm-hmm. And that could be. I mean, right now we don't know, and that's the thing is we don't know. It's just speculation, and so it could be that everything transfers over, or maybe some things transfer over. Who knows? But
we'll
at the same time, if they are trying to separate this from the other game and make it its own thing, then that's where they can kind of defend themselves. If this is just like, oh, hey, this is PvE of what you already had, then there's no way you can defend it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not playing like favorites because like just how we talked about League of Legends coming to console and mobile next year, like it's a different name, like Summoner's Rift or whatever, whatever, and it uses different models. So I'm already being like, are my like skins that I've purchased and earned, like, are those going to be in this game? I'm already like kind of like on that edge, like waiting to see what they're going to do because I know new game and all that, but like, come on, man, that's one of those like personal like customization things that makes people feel good about like expressing themselves in these games, and it's be like, hey, start over from fucking zero again. It's like. It doesn't feel good, man.
It doesn't feel good, but it's also like, how do you get new people in when like there's a kind of a barrier of entry when like, oh, all these people have all this cool stuff. I'm never gonna get that. That sucks. Like I'm not gonna play this.
They can buy it with money. They can spend money. Court, you and I played fucking Heroes of the Storm to earn
I know,
right?
And I was very upset that they became available later on.
Thank you.
No, I do believe. I mean, I personally don't mind when there's things that are exclusive, and if you miss out on them, you miss out on them. Like that. What is the thing is they're exclusive for a reason. There are things in Destiny that I'm never gonna get because I know I don't have the skill level to get them because it's PvP, pinnacle weapons. I'm not gonna get those, and that's fine. That's exclusive. Like, if you have the skill to do it, or if you put the time and effort in to do it, then you should be able to get that and say. And show it off and be like, hey, this is something that I've earned and I put the time and the effort into getting because, for things. And then to say, oh, this person randomly got in a loot box or no reason. It's like,
and it's funny you mention that because I was playing League the other day because the 10th anniversary is going on, and I got the one character Sivir, so I clicked her pack Sivir that we got from about 7 years ago or some shit. And people, whenever I wear this, I always have at least one person say, wow, nice Sivir skin, because, it shows that, I've been playing the game for a long time, but I also went to like an event to support, Riot Games and League of Legends and stuff like that because I met, somebody that gave me the code obviously and stuff like that. But like that's one of those cool things that like it's like like I get to like just pat myself on the shoulder kind of thing, stuff like that.
We'll see what they do. We'll get more information Friday. We'll talk about it next week. Next big news: EA Games is returning to Steam. They have EA Access as well coming.
Yep.
That's huge. That got announced today. EA Access, which was on Xbox exclusively for a long time, is now going everywhere. And Steam, coming back to Steam is pretty huge. We don't have to worry about a game store there.
Yeah, and I think at this point it makes sense because, for a while they definitely wanted to use their own exclusive video games to lure people into installing that service and getting it off the ground. But now they're somewhat established. I'm sure it's a revenue stream for them at this point. I can't imagine it's not. But it's like, hey, you do have those users that will never leave Steam. So why not release your games on them, enable the cross-play feature, and make even more money? It just makes business sense for them at this point in time.
Absolutely. So they're going to be making...
Which I applaud them for. That's great, And I think the first game they announced is actually going to be the Star Wars game coming out. So
a ton of news. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, it is the first game. So... What is the Riot news? Riot Games?
Tony? What did I put there?
True Damage?
Oh, yeah. So much like last year's popular YouTube video where they did this like K-pop band using some of the characters in a special skin lineup, there's a new musical group in-game called True Damage. So it's gonna. I think it's more hip hop inspired, which is cool. But one of the things that they announced today was that the one character's prestige edition, and again, it's like a limited time. You have to earn this in game using like just getting enough currency or whatever like that. Actually, was designed by artists at Louis Vuitton, which is like a really strange collaboration to me because it's like, wait a second, like, and you look at the character model, you're like, yep, that's like the character's wearing a Louis Vuitton like purse. She's got earrings, like gloves. The the pattern is on her weapon. I'm just like, okay, like that. I guess we're video games now. That's cool. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I'm awaiting the Nike or Adidas or Under Armour collaboration next. Probably next year or something like that. I just thought it was funny.
And do you guys, the Fallout 76 news, does this affect anybody here? Do you guys want to discuss this? It's the 1-year subscription model.
I think Mike's been passionate about this for some reason, so I'll let him go.
I know, that's why I was wondering if Mike wanted to actually mention this here. So for those who don't know, it's a 1-year subscription for $100, right?
$100 for a year for a game that is pretty much still broken. And that's the big issue. I guess they're trying to get something out of those who actually stuck with this game this long. So the
worst part from what I hear about this thing is said
it's not even working.
Well, not that, but they said a lot of the features that they've included in this subscription, they said weren't possible when the game launched. So there were requests that people asked for, and they said it's not possible, and now they're available in this subscription thing.
Well, the thing they were talking
because it's not working right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that was referencing was unlimited storage space.
Yes.
Which, to some degree, I can understand. If you let everybody that same access, that'd probably be impossible. Just like if you let everyone into Disney World for free, it would be impossible for people to enjoy that service because it'd be packed 24/7. So, at some point you have to consider, like, hey, you have to price things not just to make money, but to keep people, like, weeded out. Like, look, I'm sorry, like, I'm an adult now. I make adult money. So if somebody's like, hey, look, you could pay twice the money and never wait in line with that speed pass bullshit, I'm going to pay it because I value my time more than I value, the extra $100, $200. Yeah. Like, fuck that. Like, the plebes can wait in line. I don't give a fuck. I'm paying money. So this is exactly what it is. Yeah. If you're a Fallout 76 player that's enjoying the game and is liking the game and it's like, hey, you want to play on private servers, you want unlimited space, all this other bullshit, more power to them. If they think they can make $100 extra off the people that are enjoying.
I totally agree with you, Tony. The issue here, though, is that the problem that people are experiencing, these are not private servers.
No. Well, okay, that was a whole new story that came out afterwards. I'm like, well, that's a little bit different.
Right.
That's a little bit different.
Well, so, like I said, how can you trust anything they've said since nothing that they even promised initially came to pass the right way?
No, and I agree with what you're saying, Tony. Like, time versus money, like, where do you put that as far as value? It's a personal decision you want to make, and having options is great. I think having those options are wonderful. It's hard. Yeah, with this game specifically, it's going to be hard pill to swallow to say, like, I'm going to give you this $100 because you're saying it's going to improve the experience that I'm going to have, but then I'm going to experience the same issues, and now things that you're telling me are not true. That just is.
No, I know. Right. The deal, right. The whole, this deal keeps getting worse thing. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, now that, it's been a week or whatever like that, I'm like, okay, well, that's, whatever. But look, everything that launches has issues. We know this 100% for fact. And we would even make the joke, yes, Fallout 76 is still in the alpha or beta state or whatever you want to call it. That's fine. And that's great. Like, I feel bad for people that were duped into this or they feel like they were conned, and I hope they can get their money back. But look, at some point, the kinks are going to get ironed out. Everybody will get the service that they have requested. I'm more than sure. And if it fails, then that's on Bethesda. They'll lower the price or they'll scrap it entirely. Like, I just don't understand this outrage, because when it came out, like, Twitter, Reddit, Recent Era, all these people were just like blasting. I'm just like, how are you guys so passionate about something that doesn't affect you? Like, has no bearing on you whatsoever.
Because it's just so, like, it's just such a bad look. And again, like, I think, especially, like, when you look at Outer Worlds here, like, it's like, does Bethesda need to exist anymore? Like, honestly?
Absolutely. That's such a fucking bullshit take, dude. Like, that's like saying, Bungie exists, so I guess nobody else can make a first-person shooter. Like, you would never make that argument.
No, because this is a very specific type of game. Like you said, like...
RPGs.
What?
RPGs, very
No.
specific.
No, I'm not saying. Look, Outer Worlds isn't basically Fallout in space. We just said it is. It's the exact same type of RPG, action RPG, and they're doing it better than Bethesda has. And now Bethesda is going way off the deep end, to the dark side of monetizing shit.
The dark side.
Yes.
The dark. Dude, did you
So
buy
now
NBA?
Here's the counter argument, Mike. You need competition. Like, you need to have competition. You don't have Outer Worlds if you didn't have Fallout. And so who knows? Maybe Bethesda looks at this and says, okay, now we need to step up our game and make a better game than Outer Worlds or whatever it's going to be next. And that's where you want that competition. So to say they shouldn't exist or they don't need to exist anymore, I disagree. Because
I was a big fan of Fallout. I liked Fallout 4, but I feel like they're kind of wasting their time with this, MMO service thing, and they're just like they're doing everything they can wrong.
They didn't develop this game. They kind of bought this game and put the Fallout license on it and said like, let's just do this.
And they're also
something new.
dragging the brands from
fine.
the
Like
blood too.
they can
I don't know what the next Fallout is going to
direction.
even sell now from this bad thing. Like if they're even going to bother, because their name is mud now.
Wait. You think there's not going to be a Fallout 5? You honestly think there's any chance in hell there's not going to be a Fallout 5?
Maybe not from Bethesda at this point.
Well,
You really don't think so? You want to make a bet on this?
I don't know.
I feel like
No,
we're gonna do that.
I-
I feel like I had this conversation
Let's
before.
make a
far
bet
out.
on this.
I think it's a possibility because it's
we
that bad.
know we're already getting another Elder Scrolls game, and we're getting that Elder Scrolls in space game. So we're getting more stuff from them.
It's just in the works. Like, I don't understand. This is what bugs. I'm sorry, but this was what bugs me. It's like, this thing exists. It's not for me. Therefore, this whole company doesn't exist. Like, people need to try new shit, dude. Like, I'm not. Look, I didn't buy Fallout 76. I have no intention of buying Fallout 76 in the near future. I would never pay $100 for it.
I was gonna try it out at first too, but then I realized it was bad because I like Fallout. I like the
But
Fallout
to say
universe.
that
I
it doesn't
like
need to
Fallout.
be there, it doesn't. I mean,
Right.
the company
I'm not saying that-
has
I'm
other
saying
things
that
working.
because someone else pretty much shows that they can do the same things that I liked about Fallout, like just as well, and they're actually willing to do it right now. That I wouldn't be upset if this, just completely ended them.
That's again, that's where you value your time and money. So, but I mean, just hearing the things that coming out of like this whole like subscription where private worlds aren't private and people can actually just join you on your private server if they want.
Yeah, that's just a clusterfuck.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's the problem. So, all right, let's get into our topic.
Well, this real quick, I just wanted to go over like there was a bunch of games that got delayed. Like,
yeah, there was. That's right. I forgot about that. Last of Us
Just
Part
like
2
a
got
week of
delayed.
delays.
Yeah, that's right. Last of
That's
Us Part 2.
crazy. I mean, look, I'm all for delaying a game until it's ready, and especially now that we know the culture of crunch and all that shit. Look, I'm not even like looking that much forward to The Last of Us 2, so like a 3-month delay ultimately it doesn't even affect me really. But like, it's kind of scary that they were so confident. Like they had a press conference last month that was like,
right.
"Hey, Last of Us 2 this day," and you're like, "Okay, cool," and then like a month later, it's like, "Guys, we're so far off. 3 months now." It's like,
yeah.
That's a little scary. Like, a little
there was there was some like insider talk and stuff about and people like had a podcast to listen to. The guy has friends at Naughty Dog, and he's talking to them like, "Oh, it's really cool. Like you got this whole thing coming out," and they looked at him and they're like, "I don't know if we're gonna do this, man. I don't know." And then they come out and say like, "Yeah, we're not gonna make this date." It's like, yeah, it was kind of obvious from like people inside like in the know, and so. Like when they came out with their statements, they even mention it, like, hey, we understand we just had this thing a month ago and all that, but we basically don't want to crunch, is what they're saying. We don't want to have this crunch, and so we're going to try to avoid that.
And you know what I will say? The reaction to it online, at least from what I've seen, most of it was actually pretty understanding, which is awesome because, I think that's a turning point. Because I mean,
I think it also helps that this beginning of this year is shit like front loaded like crazy. Like there's so much stuff, and people are like, you know what? I think we can save that for later. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you wanted to launch 2 weeks after Final Fantasy VII, right before Cyberpunk, like all this other stuff. It's like you're crazy. Like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good that they I don't even know if like the whole crunch thing like that's huge for
Still
people.
gonna happen anyways. So.
Yeah, and then Ubisoft delayed a bunch of games.
What did they do?
I know
Right.
that. Their stock actually took a big hit, and it's interesting to me
Because they delayed this stuff out of their quarter. earnings score. So
yeah. So what was interesting to me is their stock took a big hit, but just looking at the numbers, I spent too much time into it, but it seems like a lot of their service games, the sequels did not perform as well. Like Division 2, I think they cited.
right.
One of the Rainbow. I'm not sure if it's Rainbow Six or just Tom Clancy. Maybe Ghost Recon 2. Was that a thing?
Ghost Recon, the new one that just came out is shit. And
Yeah. So it's telling to me because and here's what I think is going to be interesting going into next generation. Like, there's a certain section of me that enjoys those games as a service. Like obviously League of Legends. Up until maybe this week, we'll see. Overwatch, I consider a game as a service kind of thing, live game, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it's one of those things where, like, you need to wait a while to do a sequel. Like, you can't do this every other year. Because, like, again, just like I was saying with Overwatch, like, it's like, oh, you have to start brand new. Like, all of the stuff your characters earned, like gear or titles or whatever, like, all that goes away, start over again. Because that's the thing is, like for me, like, League of Legends on console or mobile, like, if I had to earn all that shit over again, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I'd be like super hesitant to. But especially for a game that's like based on like multiplayer, like spending, microtransaction, whatever. It's like that's a hard pill to swallow. So I think
the other thing too, it's really hard is that the games like that have been, the air quotes, fixed. Like they've been worked on. They're at the best point they are at that time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as soon as you get it fixed, it's like, hey, broken sequel. Like, yay!
Yeah, now
like,
we're just starting the cycle over again. And that was the biggest thing with the new Ghost Recon is that they fixed a lot of the stuff that was broken in the first game, and now they're putting out this new game which is just garbage and heavily monetized, like, and so much like pay to win type of stuff.
And that's what I think it is. I think they definitely need to, if they're going to do games as a service, and I think Ubisoft has been a lot better about it. I think it's just one of those things where it's like they need to make it like whatever, For Honor, Ghost Recon, Division, whatever, and support it for at least like 4 or 5 years, and that way you refine it, you get it better, and then do a sequel, and then think of something to like bridge that gap where it's like obviously like we were saying, you can't maybe carry over everything, but like maybe it's like, hey, you were a certain rank, you start out the game with this, I don't know, gear, this backpack, this rifle, this skin, whatever.
Like a loyalty reward or a veteran reward or something. Yeah.
Exactly, something like that.
Yeah, it's like people have done that before. Yeah. The other thing that Jason Schreier put out was saying, like, because of the Last of Us delay, that the Ghost of Tsushima will also get delayed, which doesn't have official release date, but it's going to get pushed back because you don't want to release them too close to.
Yeah. Well, it gives that team more time to polish at that point. So, because I'm sure they were crunching.
Yeah. I guess the other Gods and Monsters, which is the Breath of the Wild clone that Ubisoft is got, that's getting pushed back also. So, 2024 probably.
All right, let's get into our topic, which is the what is it, like, scariest experiences. Corey. You're muted.
PT. Are we just all saying PT was one of them?
Well, PT, yeah, but Corey, you're muted, Corey.
You're muted.
How did that happen?
Go on. What were you saying now, Corey?
No, I was just saying, I think we can all agree that PT experience...
That PT experience was nuts. People were running in and out of the house.
We talked about last week.
Lights were off, yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to try to play that this week because I'm feeling a good scare. I'm sorry. One quick thing I did forget to mention. I tried playing Fear on PC.
Okay.
And I mean, I have a good PC, but like, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, even with like the high settings. But B, it's one of those things where like I think the game is so old that like modern hardware is too good for it that it doesn't run the engine, like, I don't know, some weird shit. Where like I was like looking it up online, where people are like, you have to do this and do this. I'm just like, I wasn't even really enjoying, because I was only going to play it for like an hour or so. But I'm like, the gameplay isn't really that fun. So, like, I'm just, like, not feeling it. I would rather just watch a Let's Play or something like that. I might just jump to, like, number 2 or number 3, because I think those are a bit newer or whatever like that. But I was just, like, not feeling this in terms of, like, how it looks and how it played. I mean, the story seemed interesting, but, yeah. Anyway, that's what I just wanted to say.
Good follow-up.
That's good.
But, yeah, I mean, as far as PT, that definitely is, like, in real-life moment where everybody's freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, that was nuts.
It's some of the things where I feel like, at least with horror games, I get the sense most of the time where it's harder if you're not playing it to be scared, because I think part of being in the horror game is like you don't want to die, because that's like just the psychology behind it. Like,
and you're in control of those actions.
Control of it, right? Whereas if you're watching, you're like, my buddy or whatever died. It's like, that sucks for them. But PT, I must have showed that to like at least 3 different groups of people, and all of them were just like, you could tell like they're like, oh shit, this is scary. Like, nervous, kind of like
Because
antsy.
what it does is almost cinematic, where it's like, you don't have control now, and so like you're telling your buddies like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do like, what are you doing? Like, shut off. So like, and
Yeah.
So it has that cinematic aspect where you can the non-control aspect is also scary too, because you're like, don't turn around, don't look that way. And
it's also the whole video game impulses where you have to progress, so that makes you do the whole every horror movie cliche, like, don't go there, why would you open that door? It's like, because I have to.
Yep.
So it's very interesting there.
That's what I liked about that. I mean, there's so many sequences where in a game you're playing it, you're like, no, fuck that, I'm not going in there, and you just walk out, and that you can do. So I just love that.
The length of it is really good too.
Perfect.
That's the other thing, is that it doesn't drag on. Like, it's it kind of finishes when you want it to finish in a way.
Mhm.
But it sucks though. Just for people listening, you cannot get this game, unfortunately. If you don't already have it saved onto a hard drive or something on the PS4, you can't play this game. So I apologize.
Even if you purchased on a PS4, if you didn't back that up.
Yeah, I can't get it anymore. Well, I can't get it because I didn't transfer my stuff from my original PS4.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, all right, Corey, give us one of your.
So I think it's Dead Space 2. When the eye sequence happens, I was like, oh fuck, it's like you're like the drill is coming into your eye in that game. It's like
Oh yeah, no.
And that moment really freaked me out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. So that was definitely like in a real life moment where I was like, oh shit, what are you doing? So definitely.
I had a bunch in Silent Hill: The Room.
Oh yeah, Drew's house.
Yeah, Drew's house. I mean, just even the first area, getting down in the sewer, and you hear
in the
sound.
room. Well, just being in that room was creepy.
Yeah,
Silent Hill definitely took something away from me in real life. How it just whenever I hear a siren now, I always think of Silent Hill. It just it sucks because it's just I'm like. Gotta just kind of
I
look
live by
around.
a firehouse here. I live by a firehouse. It goes off every night.
Yeah, it's just like.
Especially this time of year, you're like, oh fuck, here comes where's the ash?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's those games. I mean, the Room was just such a freaky game, and just even the first area going down in the sewer, I'm just like, what's that? No, I'm not going. I'm not. I'm out. I'm out. And just that would be it for me. But even the sewer area with the first mobs you see, the first enemies you see, it's just crazy. But that's one for me. Mike, do you have one?
One of the first ones, I remember being afraid of Doom as a little kid when my uncles played it. And it wasn't even, part of it was just, the whole concept of it, but part of it was, what really bothered me was the progressive damage to the character's face as the health. That bothered me as a little kid a bit. That freaked me out. So Doom was an early one, and I'll just do another early childhood one too, but it was kind of silly. The first time I got to Mystic Cave in Sonic 2, that scared me. Yeah, the music specifically scared me, and I remember being so scared that I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to stop playing, but I couldn't. It didn't occur to me to turn it off, so I just killed myself a bunch of times in a row.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was scared of Mystic Cave for a while. Now I go back.
I would say the music in Sonic is really good. So
I know, now I go back and listen to that, and I'm like, that's a great song, that Mystic Cave music. But the first one as a kid, I was just scared of it, and then because the first time I beat previous level with the lava one, well, whatever, and I got there and I just killed myself instantly. Yeah, it's pretty funny actually.
Huh. Tony, you have another one? Or?
Yeah, let's see. I have a couple. Resident Evil series has a bunch of good ones. The first one, I think the infamous dogs jumping through the window is.
Yep. The very first game, what am I getting into here? What's going on? Oh shit.
Yeah. And I remember specifically when they finally remade that on GameCube. You go down that hallway and you're anticipating. You're like, oh yeah, I know what's happening right here, and they don't do it, and they do it a little bit later in the game. And you're just like, fuck, because you figure oh, they're not gonna go for that cheesy.
Played with your anticipation.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
subverted expectations. Yeah. So there's that one, and two, the liquor, because you see that you see it crawl out, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's why.
And it
that
just
thing
looks
was a villain for me.
disgusting too. Yeah. There's that. Resident Evil 3, just the fact that Nemesis chased you around, like, just unstoppable. In 4, what was it? One of the first monsters, that giant lake monster, that was fucking creepy as shit, too, because he could just kill you, like, instantly a bunch of different ways.
Was it 4 was, like, the first one they kind of changed the camera, right? They changed the camera in that?
That was
and
That's
so, like,
just the Gears camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, I remember thinking, like, oh, like, because you turn around and shit's, like, right in front of you, like, oh, fuck, like, they got me. It's like, because before, you could just see like, you were in the hallway, and it's like, you could see it all, because you're just static cameras, and now, like, you're following this character, and it's like, ah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I remember that being really freaky.
I mean, for me, I had, what was the other one I had? Oh, Phantasmagoria. I mentioned it last week when we were doing, or was it a couple weeks ago, I think, for games. That was a game I played with a friend of mine from when we were in high school, and it was an old PC game, and it's so funny thinking back to, like, I just remember how freaky that game was. Like, it was a murder mansion. Like, you would get killed, your character would get killed, like, so fast. It was, like, very bloody for, like, that day and age. But, like, it was all CD based. It was all, like, a full motion video in it. So, like, every time you would get to a sequence, it would actually load. So I'm thinking, like, man, that would be so lame nowadays. Like, you know it's coming, and you're just like, but even then you're like, I was getting, like, jump scared. I remember getting, like, there was a part in that game where you're in, like, a garden, and, like, this, like, thing comes down like a rake and, like, stabs you and kills you if you do something wrong, and it's just like, it makes you freak out. And man, that game was, like, it was so bloody, that game. But that's one that stands out in my head. So Corey, Corey, you got
well, not so much like scare, but just the stress of this game. I actually couldn't finish it. That was 9999.
Oh yeah, I know. I was talking about that.
I couldn't finish this game because I was getting so stressed out.
Corey,
I couldn't do it.
You gotta finish that game.
You gotta do that,
finish
man.
that game.
You gotta power
the third
through
one.
it.
Just to play the third one.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah, sure. I have that on my Vita still.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a Vita.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I just remember thinking, oh my god, this is so stressful.
Totally is.
Yeah. Mike, got another one for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with probably. I mentioned this before, but being younger, but House of the Dead scared me. I probably was part of one of the reasons why I started not like zombies as a kid in, like, the arcades. Just coming across House of the Dead, it always scared me.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and it stuck with me for a bit, where I was like, oh, I don't want to go by that arcade anymore. Like, it was a big thing for me. I don't know how old I was, but I had to be like 10 or something. But.
Suffer like G did. It's like, oh shit, what happened to G?
But yeah, that was another younger one. I'm trying to think of ones more recent. Like, again, I don't play, like, horror games, but I remember being kind of scared by the whole Ravenholm section in Half-Life 2. I mentioned that too before, just because it's not really a horror game, but that section was. I'm like, okay, we're doing one of these things here. All right. So that was something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch in Doom 3 for me, but Tony, do you have? I'm trying to, like.
Oh yeah, tons. Amnesia, just the game. I've never beaten it. I own it, and I couldn't play it for more than one night. I was just like, nope, fuck this. Because, like, the thing is, I was overly brave / hubris about it. I was like, it was one of those things where, like, everybody's like, oh, this game's so scary, this and the other. I'm like, how scary could this be? So I literally waited until, like, one night I was completely home alone, wait until it was dark, lights off, just the glow of my monitor, headset to get, like, the full, like, surround sound, feelings, play the game. I'm like, nope, can't do this. Like, just, nope. Played it for, like, 2 hours. I was like, nope, don't this. Like, because that's one of those, like, to me, one of the things that certain horror games gives is, like, when you can't fight back, like, it just adds to the tension and stress level, because it's just like, you get caught, you die, or suffer consequences, stuff like that. It's like, that's a prime example where you're just like, fuck this. And it's, kind of like you're saying, it's like, you have to go into these certain rooms. Like, bad shit's going to happen in this room, but you need to go in there to progress the story or find an item or whatever. Yep. And especially with that game, I think you had, like, a lantern or something in matches, and the whole premise was that your character would go insane in the dark because they knew shit was going on. So, like, you had the added stress of, like, well, I can't waste these matches because, trying to figure out what I'm doing because I'll go insane and stuff like that. So just, so fucking stressful, intense and shit like that.
Yeah. Corey?
There is a early Xbox game. I can't remember what it's called now. Like, it's from Sega. It's a detective game. and that was pretty freaky. I'm trying to remember what it is.
Detective game. What system?
Xbox.
The Xbox.
Oh, Xbox.
OG.
It's like one of the like almost like a launch title almost. I've been trying to remember it this whole time.
Alan Wake.
No.
No, not
Condemned?
Alan Wake.
No.
Condemned.
Oh, was it?
Was it Condemned? Yeah, I think it was Condemned. Maybe. Trying to remember now, but it was pretty freaky game.
Yeah.
Shoot,
Or
I'm gonna check.
Judd? No.
I think it was from Sega.
Yeah. Doom 3 for me had like so many moments where it was like past the controller kind of thing.
Mhm.
It was like playing it. We were playing it on PC. It was just like, no, I'm not moving this. You
Yeah,
move
I
that.
think it's Condemned, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
pretty sure you're right. It's Condemned. I'm gonna look up the cover,
So,
It shows somebody like with something over their mouth, I think.
like a hand, like yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any more? What are they looking at?
I think maybe. I actually did Silent Hill: The Room too.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah.
I played that at a friend's sleepover. We used to have Halloween sleepovers, and we played that. We all took turns, and we were all just like on our edge of our seats. And yeah, the room itself was like, oh, is this going to stay safe in this room this whole time?
Yeah, because the hole would get big. Yeah.
Yeah, or you would look through the wall and see like the teddy bear, and then it like moves or something, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck this teddy. I remember that. I'm like, I just don't want. Nope. I'm just gonna sit in the room and not move. It's gonna be something. Nope. Not gonna look down the hole anymore. So yeah. Tony.
Another one was when I was playing Dying Light. The first time you have a night sequence, that was tense as shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I still I remember that because up until then it was like kind of like it's like okay, it's a zombie open world-ish game, kind of the Dead Island-esque thing, and you're like okay, like I get it with parkour added, and they're like hey, it's getting night and you need to get back. We didn't tell you, but there's these like really like these super powerful zombies come out at night. You're like what? And it's like again hubris in play. You're like how bad could these be? Fucking bad. Like real bad. It's just like oh no, like
and it's that chase factor too now because like you're just trying to get back to a base, trying to get to a safe house or something, and you just know they're they're right behind you or whatever, and you just like parkouring all over the place just to get away. It's that like something's like right behind you feeling.
Corey,
that's a good one.
You have another one?
That's pretty much all I can remember.
I've got through mine. Tony, you had more?
I'm sure I could. I love horror games, so I could.
Yeah, I don't play too many of them. Mike,
stuff like that.
Do you have any more, Mike? Oh, sorry.
Eternal Darkness.
Oh yeah, Eternal
Oh, there you go.
That was another one actually. I played at one of those sleepovers with my friends.
Yeah. Same here. It's like my buddy got it for me for my birthday, but it was one of those things where it was like I think he just really wanted to play it too, so it was like a 2-for-1 kind of thing, which is still awesome. I appreciate it. And actually, coincidentally, that was one of the games that I think came out on my birthday. So it was a special like double meaning there, but that premise was just so cool because like how it balanced like all these different storytelling aspects of like jumping from time period to time period with different characters, and you never knew like some characters just outright died, others lived and whatnot, but just like the insanity factor and kind of like the stuff that we like Kojima would do in like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, like they kind of play that shit around where like you're like I mentioned in Amnesia, like your character could go insane if they had their health meter, their magic meter, their insanity meter, and if just your character experienced too much like weird juju shit, like it would go crazy and it would just make things even worse for you. So nothing like outright particular stands out, but just the whole experience because you're just like going through all these spooky fucking places and bad shit happens, fighting these like Cthulhu type enemies. It's just really like spooky in general.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that's gonna wrap up our Gamecast episode. So happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoy your Halloween. Have some good costumes, and we'll see you guys next week as more stories unfold. And you can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Once again, happy Halloween. See you next week.